tale of a legend named Notch, also known as Marcus Persson, the creator behind the phenomenal game Minecraft. Born in Sweden, in the city of Stockholm, since 7, Marcus filled his childhood creating games with his father's Commodore 128. So he stayed at home and continued what he likes, creating games. Time passed and he started working with many startup companies such as Keane. But Marcus didn't like to work for others, so he stopped and started making his fantasy to reality. A world called Minecraft. Released on 2011 and sold more than 122 million copies, and won the Key Toys Award for the favorite games. And here we are now, playing his and our favorite game, enjoying what we like. Just make games for yourself and try to have a critical eye to what you do. If you genuinely like the game, there will be other people who like it as well. And this is Man Behind the Mind.
Nakamura, an unpopular hero of mine, is a Japanese animator born on December 22nd, 1967. He is considered one of the best Japanese animators at this moment. His mastery on manipulating timing and contrast in his animation got him known as the Grandmaster Battle Animator by his supporters. But why did he choose this path? According to one of his interviews, he did a prank on several schools by filling out all of their entry forms, but because of that, he found his way to become a great animator. Despite the lack of sleep and the payment, Nakamura has been keeping up great animation works for more than 30 years. Without realizing, some people including myself keep getting inspired by his work. Nakamura may not be famous, but he's one of the hardest working among the others. Not every hero wears capes, even some of them wear hand towels.
Who is the iconic man behind Marvel? Yup, you're right, it's Stan Lee. Stanley Martin Lieber was born on December 28, 1922 in Manhattan, New York City. At 15, Lee entered an essay competition and won for 3 weeks. The paper suggested that he should write professionally, which Lee said changed his life. After he graduated high school, he worked on obituaries but quit and became an editor at Timely Comics, in which Timely Comics will later be rebranded as Marvel. Lee's publisher asked him to create a new superhero team in competition with DC Comics. He wanted superheroes to act like real people, had flaws, bickered, some didn't even want to be superheroes. He even said, "What are they gonna do, fire me?" Back to the competition, he and several artists created Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and many more. Stan Lee was then well known for his dynamism and how he built his characters with a sense of humanity. Lee was made the president of the company but stepped down as publisher to remain close to the creative process. He died at the age of 95, but his stories will continue to inspire millions forever. If you're interested in what you do, that keeps you going.
From Little Mermaid to Pocahontas to Beauty and the Beast and to Duet, all came from one of the most prolific animator and a personal favorite of mine. Keane was born on April 13, 1954 in Philadelphia. He was born in a family whose heart is close to art. Keane's interest in art came from observing his father, who was a cartoonist. His father gave him anatomy books and told Keane to work from there. As his love for art grew, he went to Cal Arts, and not long after, Disney picked him up. His work as an animator make its mark in industry, creating some of the most iconic characters. But what makes him so great? I believe because he believes in what he created, and as Keane himself once said, believe in your character, animate or write with sincerity, and that's how you bring a make-believe into reality.
This is Tim Burton. Tim Burton is known for his dark and gothic style. Burton was born on August 25, 1958 in the city of Burbank, California. After majoring in animation at the California Institute of Arts, he started off his career by working at the Walt Disney Studios. However, his stay at the studio was short due to the creative differences. He
started in the 1990s with a successful film called Edward Scissorhands that released one of his best. After many films that he directed, he then made The Corpse Bride in 2005 that specifically for his ex-wife. And now he is 60 years old and still continues to his works. He once said, "Don't worry about how you should draw it, just draw it the way you see it." I do believe that everyone has their own dreams and uniqueness, just like him.
Imagine this. You came looking for your missing friend in the Tibetan mountains. You notice his yellow scarf stuck in the rocks. But you also see his captors, a scary Yeti. Though many discourage you, you went and faced the Yeti, knowing you have a friend in need. This story is from Tintin in Tibet, a comic made by Georges Remy in the midst of his darkest depression. Herge liked cartoons since he was little and quickly rose up as a cartoonist at Le Petit Vingtième, making his most famous creation, Tintin. When he was working on Tintin in Tibet, his first marriage is collapsing. Herge fell into depression. He embarked on a brave spiritual adventure to conquest his fear and guilt, the mountain's coldness as his nightmare, and Tintin as a goal of goodness and purity. Friendship and loyalty proves to be a cathartic experience for many Tintin readers, but especially for Herge.
This is a story of a boy who was called a latchkey kid. He works hard at school to help pull the family out from poverty, but he can't ignore the stories and fantasies inside his head. His family was hard on him, telling him to give up on his dreams. And the idea of becoming a film director never made it that far, so he found another visual medium that was even more exciting. This is the story of Hideo Kojima. Kojima joined Konami at 1986, and they asked him to make an action game. He didn't like the repeating idea of an action shooter game, so he created an environment where players can hide. Thus, the MGS title was born and got a positive response in the gaming market. Till this day, Hideo Kojima continues to make games in his own studio. He never stopped chasing his dreams and kept pushing through the stereotype using his creativity. Because those who play become the creator.
Picasso is a co-creator of the most innovative painting in the modern art history, Cubism. Picasso was born in Malaga, Spain, 1881. Picasso art is subdivided into various periods: blue that represent sadness, rose that represent the love, and there are also Cubism and Surrealism, where Guernica painting was born. That told the story about civil war in Spain. And because of Picasso's free spirit and eccentric style, he attracts thousands of followers around the world. I'm always doing the things I can't do, because that's how I get to do them.
Theodore Seuss Geisel was born March 2nd in 1904 at Springfield, Massachusetts, USA. Growing up, he would read comic books, write funny poems, and draw cartoons in his spare time. During his time in college, he got so good at writing that he served as the editor of the school's humor magazine. It was at this moment where he got the name that we all know as Dr. Seuss. However, his success began as an illustrator and animator for advertisements and campaigns during World War II. He wanted to bring laughter to the world. His books were filled with the most absurd and yet unique brand of humor that includes playful words and outlandish creatures. His vibrant and peculiar style made children laugh and smile, giving children a new kind of imagination in reading. I too enjoyed his books as a child and am inspired to spread that joy and laughter to the world. He died September 24th, 1991, but his legacy is still alive in all his books and films, reminding us that today's your day, your mountain is waiting, so get on your way.